Modern software development has settled into a high-speed cycle known as the agentic rhythm. You give an AI a task, and it reads your codebase, edits the logic, runs tests, and fixes its bugs until the compiler is satisfied. But today, most developers access this loop through a monolithic architecture. The user interface, the language model doing the thinking, and the billing department are permanently fused together inside a single locked box. Living inside that box means working under a strict meter. A $20 monthly subscription typically caps you at a couple hundred runs, with your usage refilling on a rolling 5-hour window that you cannot control. If you hit that limit in the middle of a complex task, the workflow simply stops. You are forced to sit idle and wait for the clock to cool off before you can finish your work. This creates a clear bottleneck. What if a developer could extract that autonomous coding loop, but physically sever it from the proprietary brain that dictates these financial and technical limits? Moving past this proprietary ceiling requires a shift in architecture, tearing down the vendor-locked monolith and replacing it with a modular open-source stack. The first step in this decoupling process is an open-source agent called OpenCode. This tool acts as the developer's hands and eyes. It lives in your terminal and wires directly into your language server, allowing it to see exactly what your editor sees, including raw compiler errors, so the agent knows for a fact whether the code actually runs. Crucially, OpenCode is model agnostic. It provides the autonomous workflow, but it requires you to plug in a separate brain of your choosing. You decide which language model drives the loop. While this grants absolute freedom, it creates a new administrative chore. Suddenly, you are the one responsible for juggling dozens of API keys and managing different provider endpoints just to keep the session active. OmniRoute was designed to solve that specific complexity. It functions as a single local gateway on your machine that routes your agent's requests to over 200 different AI providers through one local endpoint. The engineering that makes this viable starts with aggressive payload compression. Agents typically fire enormous, repetitive tool payloads on every turn. OmniRoute uses 2 passes to strip out up to 95% of that chatter. This compression is surgical. Your source code and JSON remain byte-for-byte identical. It only squeezes the pros, keeping logic untouched. The second core mechanic is automated fallback routing. If a specific provider goes down or hits a rate limit, OmniRoute automatically reroutes the request to a healthy model mid-session. It ensures the loop never breaks, even if the primary model taps out. By combining extreme token reduction with this automated recovery, the architecture eliminates the economic and technical barriers that usually stall a daily AI-assisted workflow. Assembly is straightforward. You generate a config file from OmniRoute, point the OpenCode agent at your local endpoint, and the 2 tools click into a single unified system. This setup aggregates over 50 different free-tier providers into one continuous stream. By tapping into all of them simultaneously, you gain access to a combined pool of roughly 1.5 billion free tokens a month, far more headroom than a single developer can actually burn. This shifts the reality of your workday. That 5-hour timeout window is gone. When one provider hits a limit, the next one picks up the session instantly, allowing you to work straight through the afternoon without a pause. There is still room for pragmatism. For the most difficult 5% of coding problems, you can still rent a top-tier proprietary model for that specific task, but the core shift is permanent. The coding loop is now open, the choice of the brain is decentralized, and the monthly subscription is finally optional. True developer freedom lives in the modular stack.